Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 3 in a series between Grubby versus Dimaga here on Shattered Temple. Now, I think this is game 3 in a series, but I'm not 100% sure if I cast these games in order or out of order. So we'll see what's going to be happening here at the end of this game. I'll know if this was a best of 3 series or a best of 5. Now, Grubby spawning as the green Protoss player at the 7 o'clock position here. Meanwhile, Dimaga spawning over here as the red Zerg at the 12 o'clock position or 1 o'clock position. And unfortunately, I know I am definitely going to get a little bit confused on the left and right. Grubby, as you would see, is going to control the right side of the map, but his name's on the left up top. Meanwhile, Dimaga is on the right side, but his name is going to show up on the left side, or on the right side, even though he's going to control the left side, just because the way the spawning locations start. Grubby spawns a little bit more to the left of Dimaga, even though he controls the right side, and that's going to confuse me just a little bit, as now a probe already comes inside Dimaga's base. So Dimaga getting scouted out very, very early. We'll see what's going to come of that, as the probe is now attempting to disrupt some mining of some sort. And we're going to see that this probe is now going to perhaps check to see if a hatchery has been placed down. No hatchery has been placed down. Instead, Dimaga opening up with the same strategy, going for pool first. A very, very safe strategy. You do not have to worry about getting pylon blocked or probe blocked at your natural expansion, as the probe now most likely just going to patrol down over here. And as soon as it's actually going to get a little bit mad at a supply depot. So yeah, going to attempt to take down this supply depot first, perhaps start to do that patrolling in just a little bit. Now, Grubby has a number of options that he can try to go for, and interesting that he is going for a pylon over here right on the high ground. So he will be able to get reinforcements and deploy them into the fog of war outside of the range of this one Xel'Naga tower. Very, very effective strategy, as we now see that there is a pylon in place in order to try to disrupt Dimaga. And all this, getting cancelled right there, and the probe comes back in once more, and now getting in that cybernetics core. Nicely done by Grubby, utilizing the cybernetics core, canceling it, utilizing the pylon, canceling it just to make sure that his cybernetics core starts, and that there is really no serious hurt in no real serious delay to any of his tech. The probe now going to perhaps try to hide itself over here. It looks like the Zerglings may be able to catch it. Dimaga doing a great job wanting to make sure that there are no proxy pylons. This probe has to hide itself off perhaps in a corner. The Zergling still scouting out across the map, and now one Zergling going to make its way and find itself face to face with a Zealot, as we are now getting a Stalker underway by Grubby. Now, Grubby knows that, the one Zealot was not on hold position. A little bit of a mistake there. Now, Dimaga is going for gas just a little bit earlier. I like this change in the strategy. We'll see if this will work or will not work, as I think he didn't have metabolic boost in the early game, and that really hurt him in the long run. Not having metabolic boost definitely decreases the effectiveness of your Zerglings, as the Zergling is not going to be able to get within melee range nearly as quickly. The Zergling now already running all the way back to its group and to its home over here. A Zergling also chasing down this probe, and the probe most likely will get destroyed if another Zergling teams up with it. And we'll see how this is going to work, as the may get off one more hit. No, the probe down to 5 hit points. Is it going to be enough? Down to 1 hit points. It was able to actually regenerate 1 shield in time, and a second Zergling going to come in. No, does not catch the probe, and the probe will get to be able to start warping in a proxy pylon there. So the pylons have already been set up by Grubby. Grubby now going to hide this probe off over here. We'll see if it's going to be effective at all. The Zergling going to once again hunt and see if it can find a pylon. It should be able to catch this one over here, as Dimaga making sure that there's really no proxy pylons in play. He's really hunting for them, as we now see a sea of Zerglings move out. 10 Zerglings already at this stage in the game. Grubby now being forced to pull back. I believe the Stalker was able to get off a couple quick kills. So a couple of kills there, as now a Nexus is being warped in. It does look like the Zergling will scout out this proxy pylon and take it down. More Zerglings will be making their way over. Dimaga perhaps should leave one by the Xel'Naga tower, though. If he had left one by the Xel'Naga Tower, he would have been able to clean up some of the Stalkers there, as now the Zerglings are going to simply run by Metabolic Boost about 2/3 of the way completed, and now running straight into a group of Sentries and Stalkers. That is no good. And in come the Force Fields, a nice corral, and there you go. A bunch of energy being traded for Zerglings early on, and Dimaga is a little bit behind the 8-ball now. Grubby is currently supply blocked though, or was supply blocked, now able to warp in some additional sentries. It looks like a proxy pylon here will be successful as well, as the Zealots and sentries and stalkers are once again gonna go for another push. A rather large army early on. A total of 1,300 resources, but there are spine crawlers here, and now the spine crawlers are going to be able to deal a lot of damage, as the Zerglings these sentries are not going to really know what to do. Also adding in a spine crawler here, and this is a very, very nice position. It will be able to take down this pylon, and with no sight up onto the high ground, this pylon will get destroyed pretty much unanswered. 6 drones now being trained, 36 drones compared to 34, and as soon as these rounds of drones do pop, that is going to be very, very effective. Trying to get Hallucination to warp up onto that high ground, I do not believe it will be effective at all, as the Zerglings are just holding off. There's a force field on the ramp, as the Zealots, and there are a sea of Zerglings still down on the low ground, and now this one spine crawler just going to be able to get in a lot of damage and take down this pylon. Always nice when you know that your spine crawler can guarantee at least 100 minerals lost there, and then it can uproot itself and change its location. And I believe this pylon will just get taken down, and perhaps a reroute or now get reburrowed once more, as Dimaga now starting his creep spread. Zerglings look to take down these rocks over here. It looks like it will be quite a ways away, as we are now going into Spire Tech. Dimaga really opting to get into a much faster tech, but he also feels like he has a stronger economy this time around after being able to hold off any of Grubby's early harassments. Another pylon over here is going to get destroyed. The Zerglings need to just surround it and take it down. Not quite sure what's going on here, as in a hallucination flying around. It will not really do anything at all, but it will see the destructible rocks being cleared out by these Zerglings here. Now, Grubby does have a number of options to try and execute sentries, zealots, and stalkers. The sentries will be able to take down the rocks with the help of a lot of those units. Sentries dealing very little damage, only 6 damage or 3 damage per attack. So 3 damage per second, as they attack relatively slowly, and there is very high armor on these destructible rocks. This set of destructible rocks will fall, so will this. It looks, not quite sure why the spine crawler is already off over here, as it's not going to really be able to do much. A very, very interesting strategy. The spine crawler is unrooted, and it looks as though this hatchery should be set up over here in just a moment, and this hatchery should be set up over here as well, as Grubby is now taking his 3rd base, and Dimaga may take his 3rd and 4th base as well. We'll see whether or not that's going to be successful. Dimaga does not know about the rocks being destroyed already, and this is going to be very painful if he does not stop this hatchery this nexus from coming into play. Double expanding now, so Dimaga double expanding. We do see double proxy pylons here and here, so Grubby is just really all across the map. And this looks like this can turn into a very long macro game, as both players have a lot of expansions going and relatively small armies, except for these Mutalisks in the air. 10 Mutalisks in the air. If Dimaga is able to get some damage with them, then perhaps he will be successful, but he really needs to start finding some ways to do some sort of harassing. But with Grubby and his fleet of Phoenixes, or a squadron of Phoenixes, and those Mutalisks are going to have a very difficult time, especially as Phoenixes can attack while moving. One proxy pylon over there, and Dimaga does see it. Not quite sure why he's not taking it out. A hallucinated Colossi not stopping this, but a hallucinated Colossi is keeping control of this Xel'Naga tower here, as the Phoenixes are wandering around, and the Zerglings are going to look to... Wow, it looked like for a second that the Zerglings actually took a little bit of splash damage from that one Colossus. That is not the case, as the Phoenixes are now going to push in over here, and drones are going to fall. 1 Graviton Beam, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 drones already, I believe, getting killed. Yeah, 9 drones getting killed. I can count. 9 drones getting killed, but now, Mutalisk going after those units there. Corruptors are able to deal a little bit of splash damage, or a little bit of damage as well. Very important that the Corruptors and the Mutalisk stick together, as the Mutalists do not want to get too far away. Zerglings now all down on the low ground. Zerglings are hiding off over here. They have not taken down this one proxy or this pylon on the low ground either, as we are now at 4 bases compared to 3. Harvester count slightly in favor of Dimaga, as Dimaga sitting at 146, getting into infestors as well. Grubby transitioning into Twilight Council. We may see a double Forge upgrade starting to happen, and Forge upgrades for Protoss so very effective, being able to get additional bonus damage on those Colossi, all ground units sharing the same upgrades. Very, very beneficial. Observer now on the way out, doing a little bit of scouting and moving a quick. Phoenix is going to get taken down just on hallucination, as more Phoenixes simply flying by. There is one queen, and that queen will quickly get killed with the Graviton Beam. No Graviton Beam for some strange reason. The Graviton Beam could have easily picked up that queen and taken it down, but decided not to engage it, as the Overlord's now taking a bit of damage as well, and those Phoenixes just flying ever so quickly, able to get some distance and then be able to fight back. So nicely done. Those Phoenixes flying backwards, able to get so much damage in, but now those Phoenixes have to be careful. Those shields are limited, and those Corruptors do have a range of 6. So range 6 Corruptors. Grubby getting a little bit cute with those Phoenixes, and 2 more Phoenixes flying straight in to the heart of the base. This may be a bit of a problem there. Now able to fly in, and now a very large group of Phoenixes. One queen will get taken down. No, a nice transfusion and able to stay alive. So a low hit point queen. Mutalisk now trying to engage. Corruptors battling it out still. And 2 queens now just sitting back and trying to take care of the home. And now we'll see whether or not this queen will get destroyed. It doesn't look like it. Just picking up more and more drones. And the drone kills are really starting to rack up. And now Dimaga forced to train up spore crawlers in order to deal with that. And even if a spore crawler is built, it is essentially like shooting or taking down a drone as well, as the Zerglings are now attempting to clear out these rocks. Dimaga sitting at 186 over 200. Grubby sitting at 181 over 182. It looks like he is going to be supply blocked, as now Dimaga playing a very strong game. Now at Hive, he will be able to go into a Greater Spire, also getting Infestors. All he needs now is the Ultralisk Cavern, and he can easily switch his army between very, very different role types. And it's very difficult for a Protoss player to really react and respond, as you may be dealing with 150 population of Mutalisks, and then the very next moment 150 population of Roaches. And we all know how quickly the battles and the tide can change here. Protoss air armor being upgraded. Protoss ground armor level 3. Greater Spire and Infestors are starting to hatch. Roaches are doing a bit of scouting, going to take down this proxy pylon here, as we are now on 4 bases to 4 bases. And now these Phoenixes really have their work cut out for them. Level 1 air weapons upgrade, dealing 22 damage per round of attack to those Mutalisks. And now Dimaga going into mass spine crawler. I like this play, especially since we haven't seen any Colossi yet. Without Colossi, all of these spine crawlers are going to be very difficult to take down, as you definitely need siege range. And now with 9 spine crawlers being built, Dimaga has the perfect mineral dump as he's freeing up food. Infestors may be able to get off a fungal growth. No, oh yes, there's the fungal growth. Is it going to be enough? Another fungal growth could come in. Spine crawlers are battling it out, and you can see that the Corruptors are going after those Phoenixes, and very nicely done. Dimaga able to hold this attack off. Force fields now coming in, but the Zerglings just move so quickly, even off of creep, that they're able to poke apart and deal even more damage. And the Corruptors are going after those Phoenixes. The Corruptors do have a base 2 armor, so they do take reduced damage, significantly reduced damage from those Phoenixes, but the Corruptors need to back off and perhaps morph into Broodlords in just a moment, as the Dark Templars are now slicing through this massive Roach army. And I do not think Dimaga was ready for all of that, all of those excuse me, all of those Dark Templars, as we are now getting Broodlord cocoons and even more Spine Crawlers off over here. Those Zealots are going to try to make their way in, make something happen, but they're not going to find anything over there. No hatchery. There are these rocks that have been destroyed. There is one Spine Crawler and a Queen. Roaches are just going to simply poke their head over and finish off all of those Zealots. The Zealots could be stutter stepped. Yes, there is going to be a little bit of stutter step there as the Dark Templars now sneaking inside the base, going after the Greater Spire. Greater Spire already down to almost, what, 2/3 hit points. You can see that the Overseer Cocoon needs about another 4 seconds to complete. Greater Spire, if it goes down, it needs to get transfused, and Roaches are now making their way over. Is it going to get transfused in time is the key question. It doesn't even need to be transfused. Down to 129 hit points, and the Queen just going to look at it and take care of it even further. Broodlords now in the air. Where else would they be? As those Broodlords with level 1 weapons upgrade can deal a lot of damage very quickly. Dimaga now transitioning, getting in a lot more drones, and taking a look at the worker count, 64 compared to 77. But still, I would like to see Dimaga take up another base and even move the Spore Crawler around, as that Spore Crawler is starting to bleed. No creep tumors here mean one poor Spore Crawler going to take a lot of damage there and perhaps fall needlessly. Templar Archives now coming in. 8 additional Corruptors. Shield upgrades. Level 2 Protoss ground armor. Another Spire. Oh, did I miss another Dark Templar snipe on this over here? Yes, the Dark Templars were able to snipe down this Greater Spire. There you go. I'll go ahead and rewind it all the way back to there, and even going for the Infestation Pit. So the Greater Spire and the Infestation Pit have both been taken down. Transfusions unable to save it. Not quite sure what was going on there, as those Dark Templars may get taken down. Overseer now trying to catch up. Those Dark Templars sniping down and able to deal key damage to this group. And we'll see what will be happening. We need to rebuild the Infestation Pit, and also upgrade a Spire and a Greater Spire. That is 200 seconds worth of tech. Stalkers now blinking up onto the high ground. Another round of Stalkers could blink up onto the high ground as well, as that is going to be a bit of a problem. Nexus now being established here at the 3 o'clock position. Stalker's going to finish off this one hatchery. Roaches, are we going to get a fungal growth off? Yes, a fungal growth does get laid down. Those Stalkers are unable to move. Roach is going to be able to finish this off over here, and one Stalker is all that is left, and it does not look like it will be able to shut down that hatchery. The hatchery will complete as the main swarm now coming in over here. Stalkers are being very smart and blinking back. There are infestors here. Can the infestors get off a fungal growth? It is not even on creep. Yes, there's a fungal growth there, and taking a really hard hit from an immortal, range of 6, dealing so much damage. 2 pops would have taken down another infestor, as those immortals are now once again backing off. In comes Guardian Shield Stalkers, able to blink in and snipe down another Infestor. Infestors now going to perhaps be able to get off some fungal growths. There are the Broodlords in the air. The Corruptors are escorting them. Nicely done. And we'll see what is going to happen as those Broodlings are just raining from the sky. And now you can see that those Stalkers are just going after the Broodlords. The Infestors are not really able to do very much, but the Broodlord count is still very high at this stage. But there is no detection. Broodlings still desperately chasing. And will they be able to do anything at all? It looks like that one poor Roach has overexerted itself, and now Stalker's going to be able to catch and flank these Broodlords here, and Dimaga, without a ground army, unable to stop these Dark Templars. No true detection at all, as the Greater Spire is now being rebuilt. Zerglings now coming back in. Upgrades, 1 level 1 upgrades, no claw attack upgrades on those Zerglings, so the Stalkers with 2 armor and 1 shield, really limiting the amount of damage that those Cracklings are doing, as those Zerglings are now being forced to retreat once more. Overseer down goes one observer there. This Overseer does get shot down as well. Corruptors trying to run away or fly away, but it doesn't look like it will be successful either. Stalkers once again blinking in, and now gonna take a little bit more damage than they really wanted to, as now Zealots gonna do a complete run by past all of these Spine Crawlers here. It looks like the Zealots will be able to take down the hatchery, and even though the Zealots, all of these will be lost, a very, very nice trade, and being able to perhaps build another hatchery or delay the hatchery here. More minerals lost, 350 versus the cost there. Zealots also able to destroy another hatchery here at the 9 o'clock position. So Grubby able to just apply a lot of pressure and still staying even on bases. We'll see who's going to win this war of attrition. Roaches are upgraded 3-1. Infestation Pit now being rebuilt. Not many minerals left here. Some minerals left here. And the gold minerals are going to run out very quickly as well, as you do harvest more from them per trip. Stalkers, Immortals, and now a Spore Crawler going to get destroyed. And Grubby can simply almost attack move with this army and finish this off. But there are a lot of Overseers now in the air. No, sorry, Broodlord Cocoons now in the air. Spine Crawlers are coming in. It looks like those Broodlord Cocoons, 200 hit points. As soon as they hatch, they're going to heal back up. Stalkers now blinking in once more to try to finish it off. And all those Broodlords have been taken down. A heavy, heavy loss and a nice critical blow for Grubby right now, as Grubby now moves in with Immortals and Colossi. Colossi swiping through, able to get a lot of damage here, and there is the GG. And with that, Stalkers have finished off all of the units and the Immortals, and that is the game. Grubby winning with 164 over 200. This really was a best of 5 series. Grubby finishing off Dimaga in 3 straight games, and that's really all I have to say. I was actually really concerned about casting this game because you can tell by the replay timer, it's an hour and 44 seconds long. An hour and 4 minutes and 44 seconds long, but no, apparently whoever posted up this replay just sat in the game, didn't leave, and made it look like a much, much longer game than it really was. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this best of 5 series. Grubby taking 3 straight games from Dimaga.